All right, let's try that again, and then after this stream, I'm going to just finally reformat this computer, because I can't have it keep crashing on me. That's very frustrating. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, almost the moment I started streaming, really kind of funny. Um, let's switch that off. I'm going to try streaming without sorry, one sec here. Streaming without music this time around, and perhaps I'll add some after the fact for the actual thing, but it allows me to listen to whatever I want and not have to worry about copyright strikes and all that. So we'll see. We're gonna be doing a bit of UI work here. We're gonna see if I can actually get through some of it without my computer just eating it, you know? It would be nice if it didn't, but apparently we don't always get what we want. Let's see here. Ooh, that sounds like nice group of songs. Whoop. Bit loud, but there we go. All right, so what we were going to make, or at least get started on making, was the canvas for the adventures. Because we're not really super concerned about like major performance issues at the start here. We just need things to work. And then we can go back and do optimizations and stuff, you know? That to me seems like the most obvious solution to just about any problem. Okay, so we got the two canvases matching. We're gonna throw a base child object on because, or actually no, we decided that we were just disabling, enabling the canvas. So we'll stick with that for now, and then we can move things down if we need to in the future. All right. So what do we need for this canvas in order to get it going? Well, obviously we're going to need a few backdrops. So we're going to have the left BG, which, you know what? We're going to put that on the left just to live on the edge. And move that over a little bit. Negative 550. Whoa. 550, sorry. We'll make it 500 tall is fine. 500 wide is fine. And then we're going to generate a new one. We're going to call that right BG. And I don't even know if you'll be able to figure out where this one's going. Is that negative 550 this time? Awesome. And we check the canvas. They look roughly centered. These sizes are totally wrong for what it's worth, but... So what's going to go on this left one? Well, I believe that this left one is going to be all of the Moosecats that you'll be adding to the adventure. And then this right one... Sorry, sipping some tea. Some very good tea for what it's worth. This right one is going to be the adventure that you're currently working on. So we already know, just thinking about this, that it's going to need to be a bigger window. So we're going to make it bigger. And so we'll call this the adventure info. And this one will be the... I mean, technically it's the adventurer section. Let's see. I keep peeking, so I'm actually going to turn down the gain ever so slightly. How's that looking? Yeah, it looks good. Okay. I figured that way I'm not blowing out anyone's ears that comes and listens, and we're still within the yellow the whole time, so. As I was saying, still peaking. I guess we'll check the compressor later. I won't worry about it for now. So this window, this right one, we're going to give it a color. Let's see, what's a good adventure-y color? Nice, like, yeah, salmon. Well, Moosecats like salmon, I'm sure. We'll go with that. And yeah, so I said this left window is going to be the adventurers info, or list, I suppose. we'll give it a better name as we go along. But, you start with this and then you go from there. Um, we'll give this a nice color as well. Yeah, nice blue. I like blue. It's a pretty color. There's a lot of good blues. There's a lot of good, almost every color, I suppose. And we might as well. We did 750, 750. What the hey? I know it's going to be behind those buttons down here, but this is just a debug window anyways. And we could probably make this a pop-out, which maybe we'll do next stream. Just for fun, Sometimes you gotta just cut loose or something along those lines. Okay, so something I've realized listening back to myself on these recordings, if you could organize every word that I say into like the number of times it's been said, one of the words that would be the most used is the word so, and another one would be okay. Those would be, if you had a bar graph, those would be easily some of the biggest bars on there. It's stuck out to me a little bit, and the more I realize it, the more I do it apparently, which is funny, but... And now I almost said so again, but it's going to happen. I'm not going to fight it. All right, we're going to... All right, it's another one. We're going to make the container for the adventurers. And we're going to also make a folder section here. Adventures, selection, and editing. Bit wordy, but it gets the point across, Yes. Got it. Feeling good, thinking. Okay. So create a adventurer. Did I get that word right? Close enough for jazz, So now we've got our container. We're going to actually just immediately add a vertical layout group here, because then we don't have to worry about the size of the child. We can just go in here and say, please, can you control their width? Because they are absolutely unruly right now. And so the parent starts reprimanding the child, and we're off to the races. As for the size of the container, 150 sounds good. So first we need some sort of BG so that we can get the heebie-jeebies. Heebie-jeebies? Yes, that's it. Make it a nice gray color, because gray really jumps out at you as a vibrant color, It's some good tea. What info do we need on such a window? Currently, we don't have much when it comes to what defines a Moosecat, but some obvious things that we're going to need are the profile image, for lack of a better turn of phrase. Move that over to here. And I'm trying to adjust the object so that when I shrink it, the anchors and stuff will work. So it should all kind of, sort of work maybe. Maximum confidence. That's what you need in life. The next thing that we know are going to eventually be well, obviously we need the name, which I kind of... Let's increase the height of this. Yeah, that's the ticket. Move that down. And above that, we're going to have the text. My name. Give that another scrunchy scrunch. Move it over. Yeah, that's the stuff. Had a bit of a headache today, and I thought, maybe I'm not gonna be doing this. But then I started doing it, and it feels right. That's good. Casual observation. If your name was something like Portmanteau, it wouldn't fit. And that just won't work, because if anyone that's French starts playing, that's going to be one of the first names they give to something. So let's fix that. can auto size. I should also take a moment to go through and add the fonts that we are using for these games. We'll say 15 as a minimum. So if your name is that word twice, it still fits. And then I think we want to do for when it's too long, overflow ellipses. So, okay, so we're almost there. There we go. Now we can fit the portmanteau. I've learned from my time working on these things that you want to go just, yeah, about a hair lower than you think you're actually going to need. And the reason is, for some reason, in a lot of different, like when you make builds, like this would just be invisible. And you think to yourself, well, what in Sam Hill's going on there? And the answer to that question is presumably something to do with, I actually don't know. So we're just going to guess here together. Presumably something to do with, how big does that look? Fonts being rendered differently on different build types, like Android versus Windows and that sort of thing. Yeah, we'll go with 14 for now. And make sure that it fits our gauge word. It does. Okay, cool. So we're not going to worry too much about the spacing of these sort of things because this whole UI, we know for a fact, guaranteed, is going to change dramatically in the future. So what we're saying to ourselves is, I recognize this. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to overthink it a little bit, but I'm going to try not to. And there you are. You know, that's the process. That's how you get through development. You tell yourself you won't do it, you still do it, but you do it a little bit less than you would have otherwise. All right, now we would have this whole thing be a button because we are absolute mad lads and laddies? I guess it would be ladies. It's not as exciting. We're all mad folks. Let's go with that. So now we've made this whole thing a button, which should include clicking any part of it, so we don't have to worry about that. It's going to do nothing for now because... Nah, I lied. It's going to do something. You know what? I've had enough of this. Let's go up here and fix something. All right. So this was... I was helping somebody at work, but we don't need that. We're going to get rid of this. Just say game event. And go back in. Yeah, you can't see it, but now I don't have to worry about the game event being in a jank spot. You know, I'm curious real quick. Let's go look at the capture settings for Unity. So the capture method is currently automatic. Does this one show the window? It doesn't. Does this one show the window? It doesn't. Okay. Well, such is life, you know? We'll set it back to automatic. Ooh, multi-adapter compatibility. That sounds exciting. It was not. It just cut off audio for me. Anyways, let's add in an event on adventure select. Oh, no, we're not going to do events for this because these have to exist within the parent container. So we can just make the class instead for this. Okay. That's it. That's the thought. We'll call this the adventure selection GUI? Is that? Don't overthink it. That's what we'll go with. This is the thing. So when I was doing visual scripting for uh, Unreal during that little stint that I may go back to one of these days once this game's done, I realized one of the blessings of visual scripting is you're incapable of naming functions and variables and stuff. Well, that's a lie. You can name variables, but you're incapable of naming most things. And that is so freeing because I find it so frustrating to try and get a good name, especially because you feel kind of stuck to it. Like, this is the name I have to use forever. Even though they've gotten really good about renaming stuff in Visual Studio, renaming it throughout Unity now. But back in, Unity 5 or Unity 2018 or something, you rename a class and it's just, it's over. Your day is shot. You're going to go through and have to fix all that. But it's not so much the case anymore. So now we have our container, and we can just make a function in here real quick. We're going to say public void on adventure selected. And we're going to say debug.log I have been selected. Now we can go into our container, select this, drag that in there. And again, normally I wouldn't necessarily suggest this, but because we know that now and forever, this canvas is going to be generating these containers anyways, we might as well keep it connected. It's all one part, right? So we'll give it a play real quick, just for fun. Click it, clicky clacky, and as you can see, barely, I suppose, it has indeed been selected. Move this over a smidgems. It's a technical unit of measurement. It's a little bit more than a itsy bitsy, Bit less than a modicum, perhaps? No, modicum sounds really nice and substantial, even in the world of tiny things, I suppose. Now we have the button working, does exactly what we need it to do. We need to give it information to pass through. And what will that information be? Fantastic question. I'm glad you asked. Let's create a adventure GUI. Is that all I need? You know what? We're going to live on the edge. We're going to do it. And we need to go find that class and put it up where it belongs. That seems like as good a place as any. Give it an open. There we go. I'm thinking we can figure out what this is going to be populated with by knowing how we're going to build this library. Now, going back on our previous work, we know that Moosecat's data tells us all of the different Moosecats that you currently possess. And then the catalog will give you any specific visuals that are not unique to those entries. Right, okay. So we're going to close a few things here because ya boy got way too much open. Yeah, kind of a similar thing here. Yeah, I guess this is how we did it down here. We just had the on-click. We during the init, we were passing through the parent to it, which maybe we'll still do just to kind of keep a consistent theme. That way, when I go back and make generic classes, it'll be easier, which is something I actually really want to make a video about sometime, is start doing little tutorial videos on really cool things you can do in C# that maybe you should. And generic classes is one of them. I think they're really neat. They really help as you start to consolidate like items down together. They really help make it easier to remember what functions you can call from certain things. And it's kind of on the same level of abstracts and interfaces in terms of what benefits you can draw from it. It helps if you're working in a multi-person team, it helps to enforce typing, stuff like that, because obviously the more freedom you give to people, even yourself, the more likely you are to screw up at some point. And it's something that I recognize, and it's even happened in this project already, where I've given myself too much freedom in certain areas and then forgotten the whole point of something. And then I have to go back and be like, oh, wait, I'm trying to problem solve because I'm doing this wrong rather than because I forgot something. Although I guess you could argue that me now has forgot something that me previously had not forgotten, because that's not a complicated sentence at all. So we're just looking over. We can see here that indeed we have our room catalog, which generates all of the rooms that exist. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't treat rooms as an inventory, which we will eventually need to do. We don't need to do it for now, though. We're just kind of trying to get a generic support system in, and then we can go back and make it more accurate to our needs. All right, I'm just looking this over. This all makes sense. So adventurers are almost always going to be Moosecats, at least for the start here. There will be an exception to that rule, which you'll find out someday, but not for now. And so we know from that bit of information that one thing we're definitely going to have is a... What's that hiding under? What? Oh, yeah, I forgot I did that. Okay. Man, when you've been doing this stuff for a while, it's like, what did past me do? Oh, yeah, that's interesting. There we go. That's what we were looking for. And you know what? We're going to shorten this down because we already know we're going to be using it a lot. Oh, is that not going to... Oh, I don't want to do it that way. I guess we'll just keep it like this. That's fine. We'll act like we didn't do that. So we got our breed. Serialize that just so we can see it in the inspector for debugging later. Whoops, we did the wrong one up here. And we already know that there's going to be, again, we're going to start seeing functions that we know we can consolidate with some kind of generic thing in the future here. But for now, we've got we know there's going to be an init, because that's where we're going to pass the data through. And we also know, in a similar... yes, we'll be passing through the breed, and not for now, but we may eventually pass through the actual... Oh, no, we definitely need to pass through that thing. I remember now why we're doing it. Since these are being instantiated, their prefab has no concept of what that reference would be, like this one. So yeah, what we actually need to do is we need to make a onClick function. Obviously, if you were raising a game event that you've made specifically for this interaction, you wouldn't need to do any of this work. And who knows, maybe we eventually won't. But done is better than perfect, especially on the first pass. So private adventure selection GUI. I don't like that being capital. There we go. We do not need to serialize this, but what do we call that? Selected, yeah. And then on the initialization, we're going to be passing through a few things here. Oh yeah, how was I... Oh, perhaps I wasn't even coloring them or anything in the current one. That is fine. So we got our bread And our GUI. Then we'll try and get this on the first try, you know? That word does not look real anymore. Like, already. It's kind of miraculous how that happens. And then this dot adventure selection GUI equals. And if you happen to be trying to learn this stuff at some point, you don't need to necessarily do this whole shebang. You could have this name be different from this one and not need to disambiguate them. But I just really like doing it, so I do. It's just a habit. I figure keep them the same and I always know what I'm trying to assign to what. Okay, so that was the double whammy. We've got our init and our on click. Go back into the editor window and pray that it doesn't collapse on us. Recognize we've only currently got one breed available, so we'll need to make a few more. Oh my. Big yawn there. On click, so that's set. We also need to make this into a prefab. And it's all going so well. At some point here, things are gonna explode. Private transform adventurers container. And I do see the problem with adventurer versus adventurers, as those two words look visually the same as you're reading them left to right for a while. We're probably going to see future me mix them up and then hit play and see the wrong things on the wrong side. So eventually we'll want to fix that. But for now, we'll just set up future me for failure. Private adventure. Was it just adventure GUI? No. Really? Oh. Well, I disagree with that. Oh no, it's adventurer. Yes, okay. Oh yeah, and there it is. See what I mean? Future me got here real fast. Okay. Serialize that. And now we need to make ourselves... Oh, we need a container as well. So we've got our... We're going to use the Moosecat catalog for now, because this is going to have a larger supply of data for us than our Moosecat's data likely would, I think. I don't know. We'll see. It's more about getting this up in principle and then polishing it up from there. So what we did here, we had the init call. That makes sense. Public void init. And heaven help me, I cannot stand on server initialize being a function. And we're just going to drag this over because we're going to be basically copying our own homework. Private bool has init. I have an idea. Since you can't hear what I'm listening to, I wonder... Nah, I'll have to figure that out later. I wonder if there's a, Ooh. taking a detour here. So far, so good. Oh, I won't be able to do this for now because my phone is dead. That's fine. Anyways, what we were doing here was going through and fixing our code. Right, and that's a list of them. What did I call that? I called it room cells. Make that a new list. Wow, excuse me. Goodness gracious. And we actually want to pass through ooh, fascinating. That previous one did have it. Ooh, why does for art thou not see this? So it's returning a Moosecat. And I was pretty sure we had fixed Moosecats to actually have breeds on them. Let's find out. Ah. Oh. Fascinating. What was my... I should have left a comment. Oh well. Now, we've only got one prefab. I'm guessing it was for easier passing around of that information. But we'll see. I'll just go back and watch my old video and find out. Assuming I wrote it while I was... And then that breed... Oh, fascinating. Right, this was so that the editor could make new moose cats. Okay, so when I think of this particular breed class, what is actually being shown here is the physical name of the breed, and then we would need some kind of enumerator. Ah, okay. So I'm now following what I did before. Whoops. You didn't see anything, but I closed some windows. All right, let's go to our Moosecat's data. And there is the public enum of breed, and I really want to keep the same enum list everywhere. Let's see. We could just grab things by name for now, and then... Yeah, I'm not hot on these things, but again, name is a taken field in C# proper, so you got to work with what you got, you know? So with that in mind, we're just going to pass through read we'll just pass through the string for now. No, we won't. We've got the time. We've got the time. Moosecats. Data.moosecat. They have a breed. There is no setting here. All right, and then that is set by serializing it and doing it by hand. We'll go back to our... And so the benefit of this system is that later it would have like their visual style, you know, any sort of base colorings, maybe sound effects that they play or anything like that. And the reason that I did this is for when we go to do the game manager for the Moosecat section, so that we can make it easier to generate new ones. Because obviously this is not generating these prefabs, it's generating these. But maybe I do want it to generate the prefabs. I guess we'll see, huh? Project for the future, because yeah, the other stuff. Oh, right, I gotta update where these are pointing to because the folder's changed. But yeah, project for the future. Okay, so... So this is awkward, obviously. So I guess for now we'll rename this to... And then have a fun refactor time in the future. But that's the benefit to doing all of your work with just like one object that's using the stuff. You don't have to worry about getting totally owned by it later. And then this one would change. And that's, yep, that's getting the right one. And then the target layout group is, whoops. Okay. Button. Now we'll just hook up all of our bits and bobs. Delete that one. So I am expecting it to explode, but we'll figure out why it's going to explode for after the fact. Ah, it didn't. Well, how delightful. And we can see indeed that it's called Moosecat Alpha. So it grabbed the data right. It said it is alpha. So then we need to go and make a few more. Alpha, beta, gamma, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. You know what? Let's go all the way to epsilon. That's right. Your boy learned some Greek when he was in college. Not very much, though. Just the alphabet, basically. Right. Go up here. We'll diddly doddly doodle doop. Make some new ones. Beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. Whoa. Okay, and then go through proto, beto, deto, eto, and ghetto. And then those need to be in the catalog, which is here. Gonna lock that bad boy. Oh, right. No, what we need to actually have now is these things. Beta, delta, epsilon, gamma. And then lock it. Cool. Doesn't need to be in any particular order. That's fine. Interesting. Oh, and apparently I'm back. All right. Stream dropped for a moment, which is fine. Won't be going necessarily much longer. Just gonna take care of a few more things. And then, man, that startled me. Apparently has a sound effect when the stream ends. Oh, hit the init. And as we can see, we've got all of our different things. They've all got their names. We can go through, obviously, real quick and take care of a few things. In the prefab, which is here. We need to add in references to the name. Private text mesh pro UGUI. Name text mesh. Yeah, that's fine. And then we can actually do it in the initialization stage for now. Text mesh equals, sorry, text equals breed. To string is fine. And then, just to make sure that it's working, private image using Unity engine dot UI. Yeah. Image icon. And for now, we're actually gonna cheat this a little bit because we don't have any particular preferences. Okay. We just want to make sure that all the colors are showing up as randomized. Where am I? There we are. And we'll make sure we get those assignments done. There and there. Go back. Hit play and initialize. And as we can see, we've got different colors for each icon. And obviously these would be images at a later date. I'm actually thinking that these will eventually be literally just taking the Moosecat that you have, having it somewhere off screen, and having a camera render it that way. That my thought there being, if it's A, if it's 3D, or B, if it's, you know, just a ton of layers and different effects and stuff, then you can capture all that and, you know, it can move and all that other stuff, be animated. It doesn't have to be a static image, and it also means that we don't then have to generate static images for all of them. But depending on how we architecture the Moosecats, it's possible that we can just load the equivalent of their sprite here. But I'd have to read up more on that, because I think we'll have to draw it to a texture no matter what if we have multiple layers. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, so we can see alpha, gamma, beta, delta, epsilon, and if we go look, that is indeed the order that they're in. Well, alpha is the first one, but then beta, delta, epsilon. Is it in opposite order? Hold on. Gamma. 4, 1, 2, 3. So gamma, beta. Okay. We're all there. It's fine. But yeah, so we now have these buttons, and if we click on any of them, we see that they send a message down here. If we were to then go in here and we could either pass the object back, or yeah, I guess that's what we're doing, is passing the object back. All right, that is fine. So we pass that through. Whoops. We're getting there, team. We pass itself through. Well, F12, and now it's expecting it. And we can say debug log adventurer GUI dot breed has been selected. And I think this will be the last little proof of concept kind of thing for the night. And then the next thing we'll need to do on the next stream is hook up the adventures on this side, and then have it so when you select these, they show up in those adventure slots that we have available, and which shouldn't be too bad. We'll see how it goes. And then we also need, this may need to have two different windows here. We may need to have one for when you select the adventure, which would then assign it over here. Let me move it back over here. Okay, so you'd select your adventure, which then populates it over here. Then you'd select the Moosecats that are going into that adventure. That's probably how it'll be, but we'll see. Whatever makes the most sense from a simplicity standpoint. I'll have to play around with it a little bit. What were we doing before I started babbling? Right, we're gonna just show off the clicking. All right, we got all our different objects. We click epsilon. It says epsilon's been selected. Delta, gamma, beta, alpha, and so on. Boop, 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 boop. All working. So, yeah. I think that's a good spot. Obviously, we're going to need some kind of scroll rect here so that you don't have the Moosecats going all the way down to the bottom. So, but again, we don't need it for now because this isn't the final version of the UI. So we're not going to over-engineer like solutions for overflow or anything like that. Yeah. So I think the next thing I will do, at least outside of stream, is I'm going to go back into my documentation and I'm going to start making notes about the systems we've got so far. Make sure they all make sense within the context of one another. And then for our next stream, we will just finish up this GUI. And yeah, I think that'll be good. And turn that off. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. That was a fairly productive bit of time. Well, it's not actually super late, but basically I really want to get this computer reformatted, so I am going to stop sooner than I would have liked to. So yeah, if you watched here, thanks for watching here. If you watch on YouTube, thank you for watching there. And as always, have a nice day.